A 12-game NBA slate on this Monday to break down for you as we go around the association. Your two premier NBA handicappers on this network, Donnie Rightside and Ben Stevens, ready to give you some picks, some previews, and some best bets for this Monday in the association. Let's do it again after a Sunday matinee, Monday evening in Oklahoma City between the Thunder and the Nuggets. Yesterday, OKC, 7.5-point home favorite. They cruised to a 24-point win, 127-103. Now the spread up by 1.5 a 9-point number in favor of the Thunder against the Nuggets. Total at 238. DRS, we talked about OKC riding a 7-game win streak. They have covered in 5 of their last 6 wins. Denver just 5-4 since the All-Star break, and they have gone under in 6 of their last 7. How do you break down tonight's matchup? Can the Nuggets get some revenge, or will OKC continue to prove why far and away they are the best team out west?
They are the best team, but sometimes you take a look at that loss last night and say, well, what can be better for us? I don't know. Nikola Jokic actually gets a triple-double, but there's only one, assist off or double.
Assist
was it a rebound or assist? One assist Shai yesterday. Yeah. But for me, it's such an anomaly where they played the same game back-to-back at night. So I'll go 9 points, and I'll take the 9 points here, which is currently at the FanDuel Sportsbook. But it's hard to handle. Like, we don't even know who's playing in this game. And it's a back-to-back in the same building. I don't know. Give me the points in this one. That's the NBA for you right there.
You would assume, though, an early start on Sunday, yes, the second leg of a back-to-back, but in the same spot, that basically everybody would play. Denver, by the way, under in 7 of 9 since the All-Star break. Only 2 covers in that 9-game span. 8-8 against the spread as an underdog this year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is the NBA's leading scorer, averaging 33 points per game, 3 consecutive with at least 40. The points prop tonight for SGA, 33.5. Nikola Jokic does have a points prop listed. He is the only Nugget currently with props available on the FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, let's go to Memphis up next. Phoenix, a road win in Dallas last night. Only a game and a half behind the Mavs, who have lost 5 straight, all 5 as an underdog, of course, without Kyrie Irving. No covers in that span. The Grizzlies, a win yesterday as well, trying to play better basketball, trying to solidify their playoff spot in the Western Conference standings. 4.5-point spread in favor of Memphis. In Memphis, that total on its way up, 243 and a hook. What's the look tonight in the Grind City?
Yeah, updated line, -4.5. Both of these teams did play yesterday, as you pointed out. But if I'm looking optimistically, here's the tough part about the Suns. Like, I know they're getting a little bit more galvanizing effort because they feel they can actually get into the play-in round, which is hilarious when the expectations before the season were probably championship. But also understand this. John Morant, Desmond Bane, Wells, Aldama, and Edey, maybe a little bit fresher legs for them on a back-to-back in their own building here. I know they were traveling last night, but then let's just say Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant. Like, they're all 3 expected to play tonight. If they do, you probably more lean on getting the points. But even if they do play, Ben, it's a lot of miles on some of those legs there for the Phoenix Suns. I'll just go with the home team, fresher legs, younger legs in their own building, and I'll lay the 4.5 points.
The Grizz did win last night on the road in New Orleans, 107-104, but did not come anywhere close to covering as a double-digit favorite. In fact, DRS, Memphis 4-6 since the All-Star break. Just one cover in that span a few nights ago on Friday against the Dallas Mavericks. They did win that game handily. Phoenix has covered in its last 2 games as an underdog, 10-14 against the spread as a dog this year. Again, a game the Suns would really like to have. Will they be able to win outright? We shall see. Memphis now at the 40-win benchmark. Personally, I've got the Grizzlies team total over in terms of their win total over from the offseason at 45.5. Need a few more here down the home stretch. Some injury news around the NBA, by the way. LeBron James out for maybe a week or 2 for the Lakers. They're on the road tonight in Brooklyn. Confirmed the other New York team, Jalen Brunson, will miss probably 2 weeks for the New York Knicks. The Knicks continue the road trip out in Northern California against the Kings. New York still booked as an ever so slight favorite, laying 2.5 points.
Yeah, Kings on a back-to-back. That's simple there at that point. And as you just said, that Brunson's out, but so it looks like it's going to be McBride, Bridges, Hart, Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns in the lineup. That's good enough for me. And again, no real X's and O's here. You're down one of your best players, but I always like that rest advantage. New York takes care of business in Sacramento.
The New York Knicks have lost 3 straight. They've gone under in 3 straight. They have gone under in 6 of their last 7. 7 of 9 since the All-Star break. The Kings under in 5 of their last 7. Sacramento is covered in 7 in a row. Kind of like in the Kings tonight, but maybe an under of a short total around 219. TV Tom Vecchio, the prop perspective next. TV Tom Vecchio joins us here on this Monday morning for his prop perspective for a Monday night slate, but also a look back on the trade deadline in the National Hockey League on Friday. A bunch of blockbuster moves in what it means for the stretch run on the ice this season. Vecchio, as always, we appreciate the time. Thanks for being here.
Of course, thanks for having me. I want to give a quick shout out to High Point University coming back with a huge second half. Joe Ranieri and I were doing in-game live yesterday. We get them live at halftime. Great offense. They are still, I think, 23 in KenPom offensive rating. They are going to be an upset watch once March Madness rolls around. So shout out to them. Let's roll into today.
High Point making its first ever trip to the NCAA tournament in 26 seasons as a D1 program. Alan Huss, the Huss Bus, marches on to the big dance. Vecchio, as we saw some big moves on Friday, we were breaking down the NHL trade deadline. A lot of chaos around Mikko Rantanen, but he is traded from Carolina to Dallas, a big pickup for the Stars. And Brad Marchand leaving Boston and heads down to Florida to now team up with the Panthers. Because of that, some movement. Florida, a 6-1 price to win Lord Stanley's Cup entering Friday's deadline. Now 5-1, remaining the favorites. And Dallas moves up by $1 as well. 7-1, now 6-1. Those are the 2 top teams at the board. Tom, how do those blockbuster trades help both Florida and Dallas the remainder of this season?
So it helps Florida, but Marchand's not playing. Matthew Chuck isn't playing right now. So the conversation around Florida is like, yeah, like once they get healthy, like they're going to be a problem. But like we're not at that point. They aren't healthy. We don't know when they're going to come back. Kachuk's on long-term IR. Like he won't be activated until the playoffs. So it's like we have hope, but we're just not there yet because it's just not. Hasn't come to fruition yet. The Stars, I've said for years that the Stars are an absolute machine. They have depth down the middle. They extended Wyatt Johnson, their young player. Like they are a team you really, really need to worry about. As much as I like the Winnipeg Jets because Connor Hellebuyck is awesome, I think the West runs through Dallas. And if you had to pick right now, I think you make a bet on it. Like which conference will win the Stanley Cup? It's got to be Dallas as the favorite. And honestly, that's where it should come from.
And by the way, 4 games on the slate tonight as we start that post, let's just say, deadline season right up to the playoffs. One team I don't think you have to worry about tonight is Chicago. Minus 520 at the FanDuel Sportsbook for Colorado against Chicago tonight. Let's talk about that. Any looks from that one or an upset brewing at as high as plus 410 across the board? That's outrageous.
Yeah, the Blackhawks aren't good. The Avs made some really solid moves at the deadline. They're just a machine at home. They're basically putting games over by themselves. They're literally scoring 5, 6, 7 goals in their recent outings. So you could take a team total for the Avs. I assume it's 3.5. I haven't dug into it exactly yet, but it would be a team total for the Avs and probably McKinnon or Makar for 2 points as usual. McKinnon just became the first player to hit 100 points this season. He's an awesome option. They just traded for Brock Nelson, so I'll be on Brock Nelson for a goal prop. He didn't have any shots in his first game, picked up some points, but I will be on Brock Nelson for a goal for the Avs in his second game with his new team.
A very, very large number there, as DRS alluded to. The Avs, by the way, a 9-1 price right now. Now just 4 teams around the NHL with a 3-digit price to win that Stanley Cup, as we shared. Vecchio, before we turn our attention to the NBA, let's finish it out with an NHL play tonight. Yeah. What else do you like on the slate on the ice?
So, speaking of the Avs, they just beat the Toronto Maple Leafs the other night, and frankly, a pretty embarrassing loss for the Leafs considering the moves that they made at the deadline. They were up, and all of a sudden, the Avs offense explodes, and the Leafs don't look good. Now, I don't have a whole lot of trust in the Leafs long-term going into the playoffs, but they are better than Utah, so I will simply take the Leafs on the money line. So I think it was minus 118 up to minus 122 or so right now. I think that's totally played. They have to bounce back. They may not be great long-term, but they are just better than Utah.
Let's get it over here to the association today. And a rematch. Run it back. Game number 2 and a blowout victory yesterday for OKC. The Denver Nuggets staying in town. This line opened up as a -9.5 point favorite. It's currently sitting at -9 as a favorite towards the hometown team, Oklahoma City Thunder. Total opened up at 239.5 in New Jersey. Now sits at 238 even. Nuggets Thunder. Buy back today on the Nuggets or another impressive victory for OKC on deck for you, Tom.
I actually don't mind Denver today, but specifically, I do like under 238 and a half. I was on the under yesterday. We're essentially having the same exact game outside of Aaron Gordon, who didn't return last night. I would assume he's not going to play today. We obviously don't have final confirmation on that. But yesterday, OKC shot 48.9% from the field. So I'm just expecting a little bit of natural regression for them to not shoot nearly 50%. And we saw the under hit yesterday. It was 242 and a half, whatever it might be. We saw 230 total points yesterday. So if I'm expecting regression from OKC and we're getting nearly the same number from the total, I don't think Denver wants to get out and turn this into a track meet, which is a scenario where they lose yet again. So I think Denver live to cover, not to win, but we will see the under hit yet again.
9 games for Denver since the All-Star break. The Nugs have played to the under in 7 of 9. Tom, after Nikola Jokic made history in overtime on Friday night, the first ever 30-20 game, 31 points, 22 assists, 21 rebounds in Denver's victory over Phoenix. The margin to win the MVP still favored Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but it was a little bit tighter, which made yesterday's game not just compelling from the overall sides, but of course the individual race for the most valuable player. SGA goes out, leads OKC to a big home victory, scores 40 points for a third consecutive game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander now back to a -600 favorite to win that MVP hardware. Tom Vecchio, tell us all. Is the MVP race in the NBA now done?
It is, and it was done before yesterday's game. It was going to be done, I would say, regardless the result of yesterday's game or tonight's game. I don't want to say it's voter fatigue, but we have seen this play out over the years, whether it's Embiid versus Jokic. Like, the storyline has been built from the start of the season that SGA was like a really, really solid option. And once he really strung together these 40-point games, especially these 50-point performances, and the fact that they are the number 1 seed, listen, he goes out here and he could drop 10 points tonight. The odds would change, but I still think he's going to win the award.